So a question I actually get asked a lot, people message me on Instagram or Facebook and they say, well, I need to put a fin box in my board and how do I make sure it's the same as the fin box on the other side? What's the technique? And although I do have a video on installing future boxes, I don't think we actually went that far in depth when it came to measuring up and making sure the two boxes were at the same position on either rail. So I thought we'd just do a video on how I go about mimicking the measurements from one rail box to the other rail box. So just to get you caught up to speed, obviously this box got completely munted and needed to be pulled out of the board, or in actual fact it was pretty well ripped out of the board when it came to me. So we've removed that box, we've replaced the foam where the hole was, where the box used to be. We've glassed over that and we've resin coated over that. So now that the repair area is all glassed and resined, we're ready to put our box in, and we need to get the correct positioning from our rail and our stringer, and we need to get the right toe. So the toe angle is how far in towards the nose the box points. It's very rare that boxes are straight up and down from tail to nose. They always toe in a little bit towards the point of the nose. So getting our box symmetrical with the other side is actually not that difficult once you have the technique. So for rail boxes, we're always working off the inside edge of the box. Imagine the fin is in the box, we're working off the inside of the fin. So the first thing we're going to do is take a straight edge, a ruler, my shaper's square, whatever it is, and we're going to line it up along with the inside of this fin tab here. And we're just going to draw a long line extending on the tail end all the way to the rail as far as we can go, and the nose end you can go for miles. All we've done here is we've just extended this inside edge quite far beyond the fin box, as you can see here. The next thing we're going to do is line our shaper square up nice and straight on our stringer. And we're going to line it up with the top of our fin box. So we're nice and straight here on the stringer, and we're lined up with the top of the fin box here. In the case of futures, it's going to be the top of that flange, not the top of the fin tab here. And then all we're going to do is we're going to draw a line horizontally on the other side. After we've done that, we'll move it down to the tail end and we'll repeat the same step. Nice and straight here on the stringer. We're lined up with the back of our fin box. You don't need to draw a line on the existing box, but we do want to draw our line horizontally where we're going to put our replacement box. Now we know that our new replacement box is going to be sitting between these two lines. But the thing we don't know yet is, although the box is between these two lines, what is our toe angle? Is it going to be sitting like this? Is it going to be sitting like this or like that? It's hard to know. So we need to transfer this line over to this side. So once again, we're going to line our shaper square up nice and straight along the stringer. And then we want to find our measurement of this line that we've drawn for our toe angle on our existing side. Now, depending what shaper square you're using, the one I'm using in particular now is in centimeters, and it's not that precise. It doesn't have mils or anything in between. So the reason I'm drawing this line for our toe angle so long is you can see here we're on 13.5 centimeters, but not quite, it's not precise. So I can keep sliding up until I find a precise mark. Now we're bang on 13.5 centimeters, so I can transfer that over to our repair side, knowing that it's going to be accurate. Having drawn this toe angle measurement so long, I can slide the shaper square up as far away from the box as I want, or as close to the box as I want, until I find an accurate measurement. I do have more precise shaper squares in the shaping bay, and we've got them in inches, we've got them with millimeters, really small measurements. So it's going to depend on your shaper square as to how far you need to draw this line and how far you need to move your square to get a measurement lined up with that line. So I'm pretty confident that I am lined up perfectly on 13.5 centimeters here. So I'm just going to translate that to this side with just a little dot. That's all you need. Welcome back to the Shaping Bay, guys. Just a quick little interruption. Don't worry, this isn't an ad. You don't have to skip ahead. I just wanted to talk to you very briefly about retention. For those of you who don't know, retention is basically how long you watch a video for. And I've noticed on my retention graphs on each video, it's at about this point of the video, some of you guys, you start to lose a bit of focus and concentration, and you start to tune out, turn the video off. So I'm just interrupting here. Consider this a little recess. You can stretch your legs, have a little play, and we'll get back into it in a minute. So the other interesting little factoid that my analytics give me is that about 99.8% of you people watching are males. So I'm hoping between now and when this video releases, I've worked out some kind of method to keep my male audience just glued to the screen, watching sort of beyond this 6-minute mark thereabouts, all the way to the end of the video. Keep your eyes open, keep watching, keep focusing, enjoy. We're then going to repeat that step down the tail end. So get our shaper square nice and lined up with our stringer, and we can slide our square as far down the board as we need to get ourselves a good accurate measurement here. So my square is nice and straight on the stringer, and I'm pretty confident that I'm lined up with 15 centimeters here on the dot. So I'm going to find my 15 here and just put another little dot. We now have our 2 dots on our repair area. We had our 15 centimeters down here, and we had our, 13.5 up here. The number itself doesn't matter at this point. We just know we have a dot here and a dot here, and we know our fin box is going to sit between these 2 horizontal lines. All we need to do now is what we did for the first step on the other side when we began, and we're going to line up our 2 dots. And we're going to draw a line from dot to dot as far as you want. So we now have this toe angle here, should be exactly the same as this toe angle here, and we have our placement for the ends of our boxes here. We now know where we need to route. Of course, you can check this a million times. You can just put your shaper square nice and straight on the stringer, and then make sure that we have the same measurement on both sides. Got our shaper square nice and lined up on the stringer, and on our existing side, we're at 5 1/8 of an inch, and on our repair side, we are sitting on 5 1/8 of an inch. Now keep in mind, this all is assuming that our stringer is straight, but as long as we're getting symmetrical measurements from one rail to the other, we should be able to assume that that stringer is straight. If the stringer were bowed, then these measurements wouldn't add up. But if you have any doubt, you can always measure from the rail to the box as well for a second measurement. Now obviously we're going to be installing a future box into this board, but it really doesn't matter what type of box you're working with. Whether it's an FCS2, an FCS Fusion, or FCS plugs, the technique is going to be exactly the same. You need to know where that box is going to sit, and you need to know that toe angle. Once you have those measurements, then you just need to put the applicable bit in your router, or if you're doing FCS plugs, then you're going to need the hole saw. Or if we were going to be putting an FCS2 box in here, here's our FCS2 jig. These jigs are a little confusing because it says left on the right and right on the left, but think of it this way. This is the inside edge of a left box, and this is the inside edge of a right box. So remember that our pencil line here represents the inside edge of the box. So if we were going to be putting an FCS2 in, we're finding the line that represents the inside edge of the left box. We would just line it up like that, top and bottom. Futures boxes are of course a little bit longer than FCS2 boxes, so we would have not only this horizontal line, but another one here. and that's going to tell us our position for the jig this way, and our toe line tells us the position of the jig this way. No different for fusions as well, you're going to do the exact same thing. But of course we are not installing FCS, we're installing Futures. Futures has a far superior installation kit. There's a lot less guesswork with Futures than there is with any type of FCS install. So we of course have our router template here. This is called a target. The target has a nose end and the target has a tail end. You can see the outline of our box here. So this is the flange on the outside of the box, and in here is where your fin would sit. Now we obviously have a center line right through the guts of the target there, but we also have this little line and this little line, same at the bottom end. These little lines represent your inside edge. So if we have a look at our existing box and put our target over it, the two of them will line up perfectly. And when lined up perfectly, this little line and this little line run perfectly down our inside edge, and of course the pencil line we drew. So when lining up to install our box, we're just going to put our target in our routing jig. We're going to line up our little notches here, our inside edges, with our pencil line. The center line running through the middle is of course for center boxes, which are measured from the center, not from the inside edge, because there is no inside edge. So we have our notches lined up with our pencil line representing our inside edge, but you'll notice that our horizontal pencil line here is slightly inside the outline of the fin box. So we need to move our jig a little bit that way to get them lined up. Once our horizontal line is lined up top and bottom, and our toe line is lined up with our little inside notches on the target, we can pull that away, and that is our position for routing. Now that we've got our positioning down, the only other thing we have to worry about is the depth that we install the box. We don't want to route a hole into the board too deep and have the box sitting below the surface of the fiberglass, but we don't want to route it too shallow and have it sitting higher than the fiberglass. One of the key differences between Futures and FCS is that with FCS, you're going to adjust the depth of your router in order to cut at the correct depth. With Futures, the depth comes from the length of the bit you use. For center Future boxes, you're going to be using a 1/2 inch bit, and for rail side Future boxes, you're going to be using a 3/4 inch bit. But what if we have a particularly deep concave or a shallow concave or even a V? We need to make sure that our jig is at the right height. So let me introduce you to Timmy. This is the Timmy tool, and it is used to measure how high or low the jig is above the surface of our board. We have a little 8mm cutout here on our Timmy tool, so all we do is place the Timmy tool inside the jig, and hopefully we have no gap here and we're not lifted up by the jig. We want it flat on the surface of the board and flat on the surface of the template. Same at the nose end. You can see there's quite a gap here, and there is also quite a gap there. There's a lot of light coming through. We're going to lift the jig up ever so slightly and slide a couple of foam shims or sleeves underneath the jig, just to elevate it that little bit. And hopefully now, when we place our Timmy tool, we're perfectly flat. There is no light coming under the Timmy tool there. There is no light coming under the Timmy tool here, but we're still flat on the surface of the board. We don't have light coming through under here now because we've lifted this up. We don't want it sitting like that. So now with our 3/4 inch long bit installed in our router hard up against the nut, we don't want it sticking out like that at all. We want it as far in the router as we can possibly get it, and tucked into this Futures sleeve. I'm confident now that Our positioning of our template is good. The height of our template within the board's concave is good. Our router bit is set into the router correctly. So I should be able to do a full plunge into this board, and that will give us our perfect depth into the board. And of course, we've done all of our measuring, so it should be in the perfect place. And this will be our moment of truth. How's our positioning and depth? Perfect. We can now move our jig. We don't want to move the jig until we check the depth of our route, because if it's too shallow and we need to go a little bit bigger, it's pretty difficult to line these things up again perfectly once you've started the route. So check it first and then pull your jig away. Now we can check the pencil lines we drew and make sure that the box is sitting where we wanted it. If it's not, it's kind of too late now. So of course the first line that we drew is our toe angle, or the inside edge of our fin. And of course the second markings we made were our horizontals, so the positioning of our box on the board. And you can see that the end of our box is perfectly lined up with that horizontal line. Our depth is good. Again, it doesn't matter if we're installing an FCS or a futures box. We want our box to be slightly below the level of the fiberglass here, because remember, there's no resin in this route right now. Once we add about 1 millimeter of resin, it's going to lift that box height up. If we had cut our route perfectly depth-wise like this, so the box was sitting in here like this, when we add resin underneath the box, it's going to lift the box up, and the box will be proud of the board. That's going to lead to all kinds of problems down the line. Sanding too much box away, sanding all the glass off the top of our box so there's nothing holding it in. So you want your route to be, let's say, 1 millimeter lower than the surface of your board. And that's it, guys. We have done our route. So we're not going to go into installation methods and everything today, but I'm going to clean this mess up. I'll check the cant angles on both sides, make sure they're going to be the same, and then I'll do the install before I go home today. I know it's been a little while since I've made a video. That poly introduction video I'm doing now is going to be quite long and quite in depth. It's almost done with filming. There's a little bit more left to go, but we're almost there. So I thought this might just tide you by in the meantime. To those of you about to install a fin box, hopefully this has come at the perfect time. But until the next one, guys, appreciate it. Hope you're well. If you got any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. And until the next one, have a good one. Choo-hoo!